Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2017 movie titled Sniper, Ultimate Kill. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. The opening introduces us to a sniper ready to kill his target, a drug boss, in his house. The shooter waits patiently when his target arrives with his retinue of guards and directs them to wait outside a room with his partner ready to serve him. The sniper waits until his hopes and Willie are up before slicing his head open to hear the woman scream. In Springfield, Virginia, a soldier lies on his bed with his uniform on, a gun in his hand, and evil thoughts racing through his mind. He goes through images from his army experience but finds no solace in them. He attempts to phone for aid but is unable to reach anyone, so he commits suicide. He receives a gun salute during his funeral, which is attended by Master Sergeant Brandon Beckett. Brandon is visited by Major Richard Miller, who wonders how a great soldier like this one could commit suicide. Brandon is concerned that he may end up like the soldier, but Major Miller tries to console him, reminding him that he is only an instrument of the government and should regard himself as such. Brandon preemptively declines Major Miller's offer, knowing that his visit has a deeper meaning. Brandon believes he is not prepared for whatever Major Miller has to offer, but Miller claims Brandon's fitness evaluation proved otherwise. He wants to send Brandon to Bogotá, Colombia, to join an international task force overseen by the DoD and led by Brandon's father, Thomas Beckett. Brandon is hesitant, but Major Miller dismisses his reasons and shows him a car parked nearby, indicating that his flight is already waiting. Brandon agrees without saying anything else. Brandon lands in Bogotá and is driven to the task force headquarters. The driver, Walsh, dwells on his career as a Marine sniper and his 63 verified kills, implying that a sniper's combat style is unimpressive, but Brandon ignores him. They arrive at the National Police headquarters, where Brandon is greeted by Santiago, his new spotter, and Colombian officers. Brandon is subsequently taken to meet Captain Hector Garza, the commander of the drug trafficking task team. He then faces his father, Thomas. Captain Garza, surprised that he has come out of retirement, then hands Brandon a file on Jesus Morales, a major cartel leader involved in a wide range of criminal activities. Morales is elusive, never sleeping in the same area twice, and has an extensive network. Morales has emerged from hiding after 10 years, and he has been eliminating his rivals in order to regain control. However, one hit has captured the task force's attention. Initially, a sniper fired on the drug kingpin, a shot that no regular sniper could make. They assume the sniper is military or retired, and his actions could propel Morales to the top. The task team has obtained intel on a place where they think Morales to be hiding out and plan to grab him under the watchful eyes of Brandon to counter the sniper. At that moment, DEA agent Kate Estrada enters the room, upset because the men started the discussion before she arrived. She is charged with conducting the mission on Morales and indicates that the mission has been bumped up a day to tomorrow. Brandon explains that he needs time to undertake recon and prep, but Kate ignores this, her mind set on either capturing or killing Morales tomorrow. Kate and Brandon converse afterwards, with Kate wanting to make sure Brandon can watch her back during the expedition. The next day, Brandon and Santiago are examining the area in full camouflage, concerned that the big open field may make it difficult to identify their sniper. Kate, Captain Garza, and the other tactical squad arrive in full gear and obtain a satellite image of Morales' residence. Back at headquarters, Thomas is joined by DHS agent John Sampson, who questions the accuracy of the information they got and is concerned that agents may be injured. Thomas' hands are tied, however, because Kate leads the op and has already made a choice. The tactical team approaches the home and is divided into several squads to surround it. In the meantime, Brandon and Santiago scan the tree line for a glimpse of their objective. Kate radios him, verifying that the route is free for their assault, and he advises them to continue with caution. The various units begin to surround the house, but there is still no sign of anyone. Kate gives the go-ahead, and everyone begins to close in on the house from all sides. The first squad enters the house, but a large explosion destroys it, killing some agents and injuring others. Garza is injured, and Kate is ready to rescue him, when the enemy sniper takes aim and shoots him in the leg, dropping him, and Brandon begins his search. Kate makes up her mind and rushes to save Garza. The sniper takes aim and fires a bullet that spins in mid-air, shredding Garza's face to bits. Santiago locates the sniper, and Brandon takes aim, nearly hitting him and sending him fleeing. Santiago and Brandon hurry to the scene and bring Kate to her feet. She glances around in disbelief as Santiago broadcasts Garza's death over the radio. The surviving members return to the headquarters, where Agent Sampson demands to know what went wrong. Kate comments that it was a setup, and the team fears that there is a mole in the police department. Thomas informs them that the sniper is now a big threat, and that based on his behavior, he is a professional. Brandon determines that the sniper's intended target was Kate, and Garza was simply in the way. Samson proposes that they retreat from Morales because it is too hazardous, but Kate laments that all of her efforts would be in vain. Brandon requests 48 extra hours to find down both Morales and the sniper, and Thomas agrees. Following the encounter, Thomas urges Brandon to keep his eyes open because the sniper knows everything about him. Brandon questions why his father would come out of retirement, and Thomas explains that the Marine Corps was his life and all he knew, and being a civilian was simply too difficult. The team switches operations to a safe house, where Brandon warns Walsh that they are vulnerable to a sniper attack, but Walsh is certain that they will be fine. We next see that a sniper, nicknamed El Diablo, receives a call with information about Kate's whereabouts at the safe house and that the American sniper is with her. Brandon is at the safe house, reviewing the fallen soldier's file from the beginning and all of the events leading up to his suicide. Kate stops by to express her gratitude for his support and desire to pursue Morales further. She begs him for help on dealing with the loss of a colleague, and he urges her to focus on the good she is doing. Kate is concerned about the second shot that killed Garza, and Brandon agrees, stating that such a shot should be impossible given the sniper's position. Kate is exclusively focused on apprehending Morales, but Brandon worries that such a tight focus would result in additional deaths. Kate storms out of the room, but in the elevator, she bursts into tears, recalling the trauma she experienced. That night, Brandon is researching precision-guided projectiles and radioing Santiago, who is on the roof, to keep an eye out. Kate goes to a club, where two thugs try to grope her and talk to her, but she effortlessly dismisses one. She meets with a close friend, Father Carlos, who tells her to abandon her pursuit of Morales or more people would die, but Kate insists on bringing Morales down. Father Carlos then gives her the sniper's identity and is linked to Morales, promising to provide more information shortly. Before leaving, he tells her not to trust anyone. Brandon, at the safe house, is warned by Santiago to strange activities and proceeds to the roof. He prepares his gun and follows Santiago's directions, only to notice a glow in the distance. El Diablo, 1,750 meters away, is scoping out the building when he gets a lock on Brandon. Brandon is the first to fire after the two snipers align themselves. El Diablo dodges and returns fire, and his bullet tracks Brandon as he dives for cover. El Diablo believes he has murdered Brandon, who remains as still as possible. The next day, Thomas and his colleagues arrive at the spot and collect El Diablo's round, which turns out to be a laser-guided smart bullet. At the safe house, the team is briefed on the bullet's technology, which turns out to be U.S. government property. Morales and one of his underlings are playing pool in a secret house when the man beats him and wins the bet. He collects, but Morales puts a gun to his head, blaming him of beating the boss, but it turns out he was just fooling with him. He then has a drink and instructs his second to send everything they have after Brandon. He receives a call and goes to his office, but El Diablo is there, holding him at gunpoint. He wants payment for Brandon's death, but Morales informs him that Brandon is still alive. Morales then bravely tells El Diablo that he is no longer needed and should leave. Brandon and Kate are being relocated to another CIA black site when she receives a call from Father Carlos containing information. He informs Kate about a girl El Diablo visits on a regular basis and provides her the address, telling her again to be cautious. The two are on their way when a truck rams into their automobile and flips it. Morales' men arrive with rifles, and a firefight breaks out on the street. Brandon takes a gun and returns fire, and when the smoke clears, he sees Santiago shot and dead, with Kate missing. He sees the address Father Carlos gave her and resolves to pursue her. Kate foolishly goes to the address alone, only to discover too late that she is encircled by Morales' men from all sides. She still knocks on the door, and a woman answers but refuses to speak. The criminals approach, and Kate draws her gun but is shoved into the street by the woman. Kate is seized, attacked, and thrown around. She tries to fight back, but is grabbed and attacked. The men are about to have their way with her when Brandon shows up and shoots them both dead. One man flees on a bike, and Kate attempts to seize another, but El Diablo's girl holds her at gunpoint. Brandon has her at gunpoint, and Kate is able to disarm her without her knowledge. Kate then notices a necklace around her neck and tears it off, displaying a photo of the woman and El Diablo. Brandon quickly shares the photo to Thomas, curious about his true identity. He admits that they were ambushed, suspects that there is a mole, and says that he and Kate are going dark. Agent Samson disagrees with their going dark, but Thomas insists that it is the best play. Kate takes Brandon to Father Carlos and asks for a hiding place. They tell Carlos about the mole, hoping he has an idea, but he says it could be anyone because Morales is well connected. Brandon and Kate want to go after all of El Diablo's ties in the hopes of flushing him out. Father Carlos, however hesitant, agrees to help. A few days later, Thomas receives a report from Major Miller detailing a long list of Morales soldiers who were killed by sniper fire. They suspect Brandon and decide that his death list has gotten out of control. Back in the hideout, Brandon and Father Carlos go for a walk. They sit in the park, and Brandon tells him about a Marine who recently committed suicide and concerns that he may follow in his footsteps. Father Carlos informs Brandon that in order to avoid that fate, he must learn to forgive himself. Father Carlos admits that he, too, has killed people because he was a criminal in his youth. Brandon, too, has the opportunity to change. El Diablo is in bed with his wife when Morales arrives, holding them at gunpoint. Morales informs El Diablo that Brandon has taken out his soldiers. He then unexpectedly promises El Diablo $500,000 pay front and an additional $500,000 if he kills Brandon and Kate. At the base, the crew discovers El Diablo's real name is Enrique, an ex-Defense Force sniper. Agent Sampson again expresses his displeasure with Brandon and Kate being on the streets, wishing to get them on a plane out of the country. However, Thomas and Major Miller believe that Brandon is making improvement and agree to give him additional time. Brandon and Kate receive a message from Father Carlos asking them to meet at his church, but they suspect something is wrong. Brandon senses El Diablo's presence as the two approach the church. They take up a position across from the church, and Brandon prepares his rifle. Brandon and Kate begin scanning the area, but after several hours, they see nothing. After a while, they notice Morales' men pulling up to do something, and when they leave, Kate is shocked to see Father Carlos hanging from a tree. Kate wants to help, but Brandon warns her that El Diablo is watching, and he is keeping a close eye on his shot. Brandon calms down and manages to shoot the rope that holds Father Carlos, but this reveals his position, and El Diablo fires on him. Father Carlos manages to free himself, but El Diablo kills him right there. The following day, Father Carlos is laid to rest in a large ceremony attended by Kate and Brandon. Brandon spots one of Morales' men, who runs away. Brandon pursues him and eventually corners him. The man draws a knife, but Brandon disarms him. The man is shaken by Father Carlos' death and afraid to help them, but Brandon promises to protect him. With Morales' location revealed, Kate's team approaches his hideout and arrests him without incident. Kate confronts him about killing Father Carlos and threatens to make his life hell. Morales will be brought to the U.S. to face prosecution, and Brandon thinks that El Diablo will not allow him to make it there alive. El Diablo is able to make it into the U.S. undetected. Meanwhile, Morales is hauled into protective custody. El Diablo is dealing with someone in the U.S. and gets an automobile arranged for him with 3 laser-guided projectiles. The squad prepares to bring Morales to trial and take him to the convoy with a cover over his head. Brandon gets to his position when he explains to Sampson that the man in the hood is actually false and the real Morales will be relocated in a cleaning van. El Diablo has set himself at his post awaiting the convoy when he gets a text. The cleaning van then leaves out later, and when it gets into range of El Diablo, he fires, breaking the van apart. A couple of thugs then approach in automobiles and also open fire on the van. Brandon and his men begin fire on the gangsters, aiming to draw more fire from El Diablo. He fires another shot to finish off the van, but Kate is able to gain a hold on him. Brandon does not see him but calms himself and fires, ripping off El Diablo's head. It is subsequently discovered that it actually was Morales in the convoy. Sampson is astonished that the vehicle is empty, and Brandon and the squad turn on him and hold him at gunpoint. Sampson then admits that they negotiated a deal with Morales to stop a dirty bomb from crossing the border and supplied him weaponry but never intended for it to be used against his own people. Out of fury, Kate punches him in the face. Sampson gets arrested, and Thomas believes they worked well together and hopes to form a new team. Thomas plans to return to fishing for a while and embraces Brandon. The two exchange tearful goodbyes, as Thomas watches his son walk away. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.